Wicked, wicked.
All right.
Fancy seeing you here?
Yeah, come on.
Take a seat in my office.
Oh, your office, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, there we are. Nice chairs, these. Comfortable.
Good.
They're like Big Brother chairs, aren't they?
I wanted to be on Big Brother. I've applied 3 times. They won't take me. Don't know why. Oh, let me get comfortable.
Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Hi, Caroline. Are you ready for this?
I am. See?
Wow, we've known each other for 38 years. And have we really talked about HIV? Off and on, probably?
Off and on, but never really like in conversation. Not for a long time.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question if that's all right.
Okay.
How do you describe me to others when I'm not around? Now, be polite.
I would say Hamish is someone full of joy, full of like genuine kindness, goodness. You have the Somali quirk in you, which is very, very, very akin to me. But ultimately, you're somebody with a good heart. Yeah, that's how I describe you. 100%.
You're a no-nonsense person. You tell it as it is. You can be a bit off the wall sometimes, but you're straightforward. Yeah.
I describe you as very well organised, very well put together. You're very generous and you have a very big heart. Off the top of my head, that's how I would describe you as a well-rounded version of you.
Oh, thank you very much. I shall take that on board.
I always say, Stephen, my musical theatre ex-neighbour, who I love, always joking, putting the world to rights. And to my little grandson, I say my Uncle Stephen is coming. Animated Stephen, my friend.
I'm happy with that.
So how do you describe me to others while I'm not around?
My uncle, that's probably one of the most intelligent, talkative, informative and interesting people I know. He's a font of knowledge about so many different things. You've always been someone that I feel happy talking to, feel happy to share time with.
That's nice.
What does our relationship mean to you?
If I were to sum it up in one word, I would say the world.
That's 2.
Okay, world.
You're like a strong host for me to hang on to, because I don't have anybody else that I can talk to about not just ordinary things, but deeper things, health things, that sort of thing. I think I'm going to phone you for 5 minutes and an hour later we're still talking.
My Walalo, my Somali brother. My Somali brother. Being half Somali, growing up with my Somali side, my British side, I felt like I was always either in one or the other. But when we moved in together 7 years ago, yeah, I felt like I'd found a long lost brother from another mother. Like, yeah, that's the only way I can describe it.
Our relationship means everything to me. It means the world. Without our relationship, I would be adrift in the world. It gives me strength, it gives me stability, it gives me reassurance. But even if I'm not always present, our relationship is always present in my life. Yeah.
What does our relationship mean to you?
You are my be-all and my end-all, the most important person in my life. So yeah, it's very simple. You're my everything. Oh. Don't cry, you'll spoil your makeup. My period is due next week and like my emotions are everywhere. Okay, bye you.
Just speaking the truth.
Yeah.
Can you remember what you felt when I shared my HIV diagnosis with you? So there's something about this is that I didn't share it with you, I shared it with the world, and you wrote something when I did, and I want to read it out actually.
All right, go on, mate.
Do you remember what you said?
At this current point, I don't. All I know is it came from my heart. Yeah, and some really intense thumbs. Yeah.
Do you want to read it? You should read it. Because it's your words. It's your words.
All right, Faisal from 74 weeks ago. Let's tap back in, bruv. I love you, my bro. What a beautiful fucking warrior you are. Heart symbol, prayer hands. I love you and thank you for having the courage to share your truth. You're an inspiration to me. Heart,
Wow.
prayer hands.
Yeah, that meant a lot.
What you did meant a lot.
Thank you.
Can you remember what you felt when I shared about my HIV diagnosis with you?
Honestly, I don't think I felt like much. I've just grown up my whole life. I think being aware of what HIV is. I think the first thing I felt was like, oh, so do I have it? And I just don't know that I have it. And you said, no, you're negative. And I was like, oh, okay. Cool. Like, what are we having for dinner? Type. I don't think it was a thing for me, even that young.
How did you feel when I shared my diagnosis with you?
Fine. I worked in thoracic and HIV medicine.
In the late 80s?
In the late 80s. I was already in that environment. I was already familiar. Nothing of that fazed me. So your diagnosis, just to say that to me, I felt quite privileged in a way.
I think I was at that point in my life where I was just like, look, this is me. There's nothing you don't know. So here I'm putting it out there. So yeah.
This one's interesting because I remember. I'll remind you.
Oh, God.
It was when you were around 14, I think. You said to me, I've done something really bad. And I said, what have you done? You said, I read your letter. And I said, what letter? And then you said, the one that says you have HIV. And I said, what were you doing reading my letters? And you said, I read it because at the top of the letter, it said Royal Free Hospital. And you said, that's where I was born. So I thought it was a letter about me. And obviously, it turned out it wasn't about you.
Can you remember what you felt when I shared my HIV diagnosis with you?
I remember you told me. You just told me that you've got you've got HIV. You've been diagnosed for HIV, and I remember saying, in fact, I remember this. I said, well, "What do you mean? How?" And I think you said to me, "What do you mean? How?" Or something like that.
Right.
And I said, "I'm coming. Where are you? I'm coming over."
I didn't know that I had full-blown AIDS at that point because I was presenting with that, which they didn't tell me.
Yeah.
So I hadn't even told anybody.
No, you didn't.
It happened so fast.
Can you remember what you felt when I told you I was HIV?
Shock. Big
Really?
shock.
Gosh.
But also fear, I think, because, well, the idea of potentially it's a death sentence. Those early days were horrible. They really were horrible because there was a stigma. There was those awful adverts, those huge adverts that basically made you feel like it was just the death sentence.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the government was thinking with those campaigns. It was just horrible. It didn't do anything to educate. It just put more fear.
Can you remember what you felt when I shared my HIV diagnosis with you?
Well, you didn't share it. It came through from another friend. It was heart-wrenching and pretty scary because all I saw was death, because that's what we were told at the time. And I think I'd fought so hard to try and keep you safe when you first came out, to the point where I had made that decision to leave your father for your safety. And then to be told years later that my son is going to die. Right. I was just in a bit of a turmoil. It was such a stigma within the Black community to have a gay son, and then to have a gay son who is also HIV positive. It was not just to protect you, but also to protect myself.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
And I'm still fighting.
I know that.
If or when HIV stigma shows up in your life, what does it look or sound like?
First thing I think of is, don't share your towel though. I had that from a family member. Don't share your towel. I mean, to think in this day and age, people still think HIV can be transmitted on surfaces, on towels. That was one of the more sort of in your face ways that stigma can show up. This feeling that you're infected, you're dirty. Don't touch, don't come near, which is just fueled by misinformation.
It's just general jokes that you hear children make in school, and again, it will just be general comments or some misinformation that I might hear that I'm like, well, actually, no, that's not correct.
I mean, the idea of being diagnosed with something that is basically going to take your life if left unchecked, you're not just dealing with that, you're dealing with all this other stuff. Life-threatening things are horrific anyway. You don't need all the other baggage, do you?
Not really, no.
Me personally, I'm not affected by stigma because I have no insecurity about the fact that my mum has HIV.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, yeah. A fab girl.
I can't cry because I don't want to spoil the makeup.
No. It's that base. I laid that base. Let's not. Let's not.
When stigma showed up in your life, what did it look like and sound like to you?
I suppose it was like a big dark cloud that covered everything. And because I experienced stigma within my workplace from my agent at the time, who told me nobody with HIV will ever have a lead role in the West End or on Broadway. So stigma for me was very real, very there. But because of stigma, I started to hide everything, hide my diagnosis, so in a way, stigma was it was very double-barreled, because it wasn't only the career and everything, it's just everything. And I would like to say that that black cloud has gone. It's got smaller, it creeps in, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, hello stigma. Yeah.
And what would it sound like?
It would sound like somebody singing off key.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, it makes you go, oh. So that's the best way I can describe it. It's just
that's
like,
really good, actually.
Please don't, so yeah.
If or when HIV stigma shows up in your life, what does it look or sound like?
I think it's changed over the years, or how it looked and sounded like. And initially it was fear. It felt like fear of being rejected by others. I was angry. Why me? And I think it's empowering for me now. It's been a gift for me, actually. It's kind of weird. I think I've said this to you before.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't define me. You can't judge somebody just by a label of having some kind of condition. It's been a toll from trauma to transformation for me, actually, for that trauma of having a life-limiting potential condition for which there is no cure, to totally feeling emancipated and not letting it limit me in any way.
Over the years, how, if at all, has my HIV diagnosis changed you?
Your general status, if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't feel like it's ever personally affected me or hindered my life in any way. Obviously, there were certain conversations we might have had, or maybe had to do things slightly differently. I feel like I was just like any other child. I don't feel like it affected me.
Good. Add that to the list of things that I'm proud of. That means I did that correctly.
Yes. Okay, we can add that one to the list as well.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I also advocate for a lot when I get asked by other parents, what point do you talk to your children about it? I'm always saying, talk to your children. It doesn't matter how young or how old, just always try and be as open and honest as possible, because that means they can approach you with all their fears and concerns, and then that gives you as a parent an opportunity to be able to alleviate those fears. Otherwise, then it creates tension and anxiety and whatever. You don't want an anxious child. You don't. You just want them to, be as free as possible.
How has it affected me personally? I mean, it's made me a lot more aware. I've done a lot of research myself to find out things I wasn't aware of. So now I also remember making the condom packs for you guys.
You always made condom packs every year. You always made condom packs. And do you remember recently when Lauren and Taylor were doing condom packs? They were about 8 or 9, and they called me up and they were like, Uncle Mark, Nanny needs more lube, which I thought was hilarious. That's so funny. Nanny needs more lube.
Oh, right. Is there anything about HIV that you've sort of unlearned that you thought originally?
Well, that it's not a death sentence for a start.
Yeah, yeah.
Because developments and the progress with treatment and stuff,
Yeah.
it can be neutralised, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, way back when, it was a case of that's it, death penalty. There is no, it's just a question of how long and how it's going to develop.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing.
That's true, because in the 80s, my doctor, my fantastic consultant I had, and we had a great relationship, and he said to me after about 5 years, he said, Fraser, you should be dead by now. He said, I don't know what you know, and I said, well, I'm sorry, I'm doing the best I can. And he said, well, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever it is, it's working.
Knowing all that you know now, what's something you would tell your younger self? I love them kind of questions.
What would I tell my younger self? I would tell my younger self that it's going to be okay. Because I think when I was younger, I worried about everything. And I worried about love, I worried about loss, I worried about if my dreams would come true. You know, I worried about all those things so much that I know I didn't enjoy a lot of the things that were happening in my life because of that, you know. And I would probably also tell myself that I'm going to get through being younger. You can't see really beyond tomorrow. That would be my advice for my younger self. Just don't worry as much. Keep believing and keep hoping, and you know, because that's all you can do. Just don't stress about it all.
And that positive attitude has carried you through?
Yeah, definitely. It's about learning that your life is necessary.
What is something you wanted to ask me about HIV that you never have?
I think the one thing which I have asked is how and who was it?
Lots of positive people who are diagnosed are asked that question, how did you get it? And that is, for them, a really can sometimes be quite an upsetting question, a question that might be loaded with stigma. I know that's not where you're coming from. You're coming from the perspective of a mother who might be thinking, who did this to my son? I always say to people, don't ask me how or who gave me HIV. Ask me why I got HIV. I didn't have access to information, so I didn't think that HIV affected me. I thought HIV was over there. It affected white gay men. It didn't affect me as a young black gay man. In many ways, it wasn't an individual, it was a system. It was the world around me. It was probably inevitable that I would have got HIV at some point in my life. I'm just really glad that it happened when it did, which means I could take control at a much earlier stage in my life. I always say, and I want you to know this as well, that HIV gave me more than it ever took away. Grateful is not the right word, but I'm at peace with what happened to me in 1986 because it brought me to where I am in 2025.
Last but not least, what's changed the most in how people see HIV, and what hasn't changed enough?
Most people understand now that it's not deadly. I think that's probably the thing that's changed the most. The thing that has not changed enough is the fact that you can't pass it on with effective treatment. That's the thing that's still lagging behind. In the UK, 98% of people diagnosed with HIV, 98% cannot pass it on. 49 out of 50 people cannot pass it on. But I think only a third of people know that, really know that. That's the gap that still exists. That's why I do what I do.
Bad boy.
What hasn't changed is
Enough. Yeah.
all right, or not changed enough. I think we could still do a lot more in terms of the information that people have, and a bit about the stigma and the moralizing and the judgment. That just need to change, because actually, like I said, it's not a moral issue. It's a virus, and it's a very tiny virus that you need to look for under a microscope. It doesn't define who we are as individuals, and we're just regular people. Just regular people.
Okay, come on, Mahalia.
All right. Any final thoughts?
None. You?
No. Wow, that was interesting. Just wanted to say that I love you very much.
Oh, I love you too, Mom.
Well done.
Come on, bro. You smashed it. You smashed it.
I'm glad